This is a lesson for Monday. You should have already completed the quiz and now be watching this lesson about quadratic formula. We're going to be solving equations that cannot be factored using the quadratic formula. So we're looking for things that cannot be factored. Then we go to this formula. And the key for this is that an equation has to be in standard form, equal to 0 in order. And we solve using the formula. You should recognize this from Algebra 1. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You need to have this formula memorized. You need to know this formula. So we're going to start with an equation like this. This is obviously not in standard form, and it does not factor. So the first thing we're going to do is subtract 10 to get it into standard form. And then we're going to identify what a, b, and c are. A is 4, b is negative 7. Watch the signs. Make sure your signs stay with the number. It's negative 10 for c. So we're going to plug these into the formula. First of all, I do negative b. So here's b. So I put b in here, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So there's b also. And then I'm going to take a, because it's b squared minus 4 times ac all over 2a. So you can see a goes there and there. And then c is negative 10. So that goes here for c. So we've plugged in b, a, and c in each of the appropriate spots. And we're going to simplify using order of operations. First of all, a couple easy things here. 2 negatives make a positive 7. And the denominator should also be really easy. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, so I'm going to take care of those quickly. All the work really happens inside the square root. And we have to follow order of operations. Exponents first. So I'm doing negative 7 squared, which is positive 49. And then I'm going to do the multiplying next. 4 times 4 is 16, times 10 is 160. But notice it's a negative or a minus sign. And there's another negative here. So when I'm multiplying, I have 2 negatives in this whole area, which makes it plus 160. And then I'm going to add thirds. So I'm going to do 49 plus 160 and get 209. This is the exact answer right now. 7 plus or minus 209 divided by 8. And what that means is that I would have 7 plus the square root of 209, and that whole thing is divided by 8, the entire numerator. So this is being grouped, even though you don't see parentheses. 7 minus the square root of 209, that whole thing again being divided by 8. So that's the exact answer. We are going to get the approximate decimals as well. So we're going to run this on run matrix, and I would type it in, and I'll pull up my calculator. We're going to type it in, 7 minus 209, square root of 209, all divided by 8. And I'm going to run that for you from scratch. So what this looks like is I'm going to hit the fraction button, and then I'm going to type in 7 minus, and then the square root button. Shift x squared to bring up the square root, 209 over 8. Now it shows you the square root answer, so we're going to hit this FD button above the 8 to turn it into the decimal. And then when you run the same thing as a plus, which I already have in here, you would get the other decimal. So I'm getting 2 answers for this. I'm getting negative 0.9 and 2.7 when I round. Negative 0.9 and 2.7 are the 2 answers for x as approximate decimals. These are the 2 answers for x as exact answers. And again, these are giving us x-intercepts as we discussed on Friday. Okay, you can stop the lesson and go in and try the homework. Pop back into the live session if you have any questions.